So I wanted to make this video to show you a few things that I've already done and explain the list of features that I want on the new proton packs that I'm building, which are going to be considerably more advanced than the other two.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh. Did you want to?
Sorry. I'll let you.
Next time. Okay.
Now the first thing I've decided to do is 3D print as many parts as I can instead of using metal, and I think that I can get rid of about 3 kilograms off the weight using 3D print instead of metal parts. So now the reason I'm fixated on this object here is you may recognize this as the thrower gun box, and this has been 3D printed. Now, compared to Jason Murphy's resin casted gun boxes, which are absolutely amazing quality if you look them up on the internet, this is considerably lighter. And to be honest with you, the quality of it is fantastic considering it's 3D printed. I would estimate that this is about 100 grams maybe, whereas I believe that Jason's is probably somewhere between 500 and a kilo. Now, the thrower boxes are printed in parts. The first part is the main box, which I print on its side like this, so that you don't need any support inside holding the roof up. So if it's like that, it just needs support under these little bits, which is debatable. Inside, you can see there's plenty of space for the electronics, which I'll talk about in a minute. In the UK, we have this PVC pipe stuff, which literally fits straight into the hole. It's quite a long bit, and you can see it's taking the weight off that. So that's a perfect size. The file for this gun box is on Thingiverse, and I will credit the designer in the description. So, as I said, this is currently in 2 parts. You have the main box and then the front part, which is the heatsink, which actually looks like this. And it's got clips in the back which fit into holes, and then you just glue it into place when you're ready. The next part is the side door, which I intend to attach by magnets, which just go straight there. If it's magnets, it means if I have an electrical fault, I can just get straight back in and fix any problems inside. And the final part of this, or final notable part, is the side, which is what the handle attaches to. Now, I can't attach this right now, but basically you can get the basic gist of it. And then you have a few little parts which just attach into their respective place on the pack. Like I said, I will link to the file in the description. As you can see, the 3D printer is currently printing the thrower box for the second proton pack that I'll be building, because just like before, I'll be building 2 in tandem, one for my girlfriend and one for me. It is currently at 43%, and it's been printing since 1 AM last night. It is now 2 PM the next day, so it's been going for 13 hours already, and I estimate that it will finish printing at probably about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, perhaps later. So when I wake up tomorrow, it should be finished. Right, so the reason I wanted to make this video was to explain the features that I wanted in the next proton pack. And I've seen a load of amazing things on the internet, and I wanted to incorporate as much of it as possible. I'd quite like to have servos in it, moving various different parts. I was considering a smoke machine for when it vents, and a few other little bits, but I've written down this list of features that I want the pack to have. So let's have a quick look through, and if I think of anything else, then I'll probably add them in the future. So I've broken it down into sections, which is the thrower section and the pack section. So in the thrower, I want 3 LEDs in the tip, which will flash red, white and blue respectively when the trigger is pulled, which would just give a nice flashing strobing effect. The next thing I wanted in the thrower was a rumble mechanism. I like the idea of the vibration when you're pulling the trigger, so I have decided to incorporate a rumble mechanism, and this is the motor that will be used for that. Because it's weighted on one side, when it spins, it makes it shake, which makes the entire thrower vibrate. The next thing I wanted was a plasma tube. It's basically a tube that was originally designed for in-car kind of visuals, and it's a tube of acrylic, and inside it plasma beams jump around and everything, and it looks exactly like Proton Pack thrower stream. I've ordered 2 of them, which I needed to buy from America, so each pack will have that in. The next thing is a blinky LED. That will go next to the switches on the thrower, and it will blink slowly when the pack is in standby mode, blink slightly faster when it's ready to fire, and then probably stay solid whilst the pack is firing. The motor for the plasma. Now the thing is, unlike the 84 packs, the reboot pack doesn't have an acrylic tip coming out of it. So I had to find a way to incorporate the acrylic tip with the plasma tube in it without detracting from the aesthetics of the reboot pack. And the way I came up with that is, this is how the reboot pack normally looks, excuse the crude drawing, and via a motor and gear system, the tip of the thrower will extend with the plasma tube attached to it. So as you pull the fire trigger, the sound effects for firing will play, and the tip will extend, revealing the plasma tube effect. And then as soon as you release the fire button, the tip will retract back into the barrel, and it will look just like a normal reboot pack again. So it's kind of a really cool hidden little feature. So the final thing that will be in the thrower is the potentiometer. And that basically is just a little turny knob, which I'll demonstrate with this motor, and you turn it to control the volume of the sounds. That's already in my current packs. So that's all the stuff that I've got to somehow fit into the thrower, and I've had to quite rapidly learn about relays and various other more complex electronical setups in order to incorporate all of that stuff into the thrower. I estimate there will be at least 11 wires running to the thrower, which I'm trying to limit as much as possible because I'd much rather there wasn't that many, because it's more potential to break. But we'll see as time goes on if I can limit those down a little bit. So next into the pack. The main pack will have a 7-segment display up in the top left hand corner, which you can see in Paul Feig's photos of the pack, and it will just scroll along the words, who you're going to call, Ghostbusters. And we'll probably just continue to do that whilst the pack is on. The voltmeter is the little green display in the bottom left hand corner, which just basically monitors the voltage of the battery and just flickers around a little bit. Cyclotron lights. This time I want 2 sets of cyclotron lights. It's actually a synchrotron this time, I think, but whatever. So I have one outer set of lights, which will be extremely bright and doing the circular motion and the breathing motion. And then in the center I want a smaller set of lights, which will do slightly different animations, but I want them to complement each other nicely. So we'll see how that turns out further on down the line. Now this is quite an exciting feature, the 2 servos. As many of you that have been watching my videos may already know, I've been making the Holtzman armbands, which you can see here. That's one that's going to be posted off tomorrow to a buyer. And if you look at the videos, you can see all the different functions that it has and things that it does. Well, I want to rewrite the code on those so that they can send a signal via either Bluetooth or Wi-Fi to control servos in the proton pack, which will eject the proton pistols, just like Holtzman does in the movie. So basically, you have the armband on, it's completely wireless, you press a button, the proton pistols eject, and you can take them out. I might just store my phone in there, but I've also, on a slightly different note, I absolutely loved the Men in Black films when they came out, and I always wanted one of those little pistols that Will Smith gets given in the first film.
Series 4 deatomizer.
That's what I'm talking about.
Noisy cricket.
Hey, Kay, no, come on, man. You get a Series 4 deatomizer, I get a little midget cricket. Oh, yeah.
And I managed to find the file on Thingiverse, so I decided to print it out, and it came out really well, just needs painting. So I might have that pop out of the side. I think it's like a quirky little thing. So, I don't know, I'll decide what's going to pop out when I get to that stage. But at least it's going to have those moving parts. The next thing on my list is the audio effects. Now that is just the circuit board that stores all the music and sound effects and stuff. So then you need an amplifier. In my case it'll be an Adafruit 20 watt Class D amp, which is really loud when connected up to some powerful speakers. So I'll be very happy with that. The 12 volt battery is needed to power the plasma light and the amplifier, and the 5 volt battery will control everything else. I ideally want the 5 volt battery to have an extremely high milliamp per hour rating, because I've got a feeling this pack is going to use a considerable amount of power. So ideally I'm looking for a minimum of 10,000 milliamp hours, which will hopefully last a day at a con with all this stuff going on. Let's move on to what the different switches do. The fire button on the thrower will first of all send a signal back to the Arduino to make the firing noise, which will continuously loop. It will extend the tip of the barrel to reveal the plasma tube. It will also flash the plasma, so that will start lighting up. It will flash the LEDs in the end of the throw gun to simulate firing, and it will also control the rumble mechanism. So I did a little doodle of a relay, but in the end I just use 123D circuits to build the circuit, which I will also link in the description. The final thing I did on here was I just made a couple of little sketches to decide what kind of power boards I'll need. I don't know the actual name of them, but I basically had 12 volt ground, which I haven't really listed anything on because I already know it's just the plasma tube that needs to be attached to that. 12 volt plus is just the plasma tube that needs to be attached to it. And then I've got a 5 volt ground. So these are all the things that are going to be need to be connected onto the 5 volt ground strip. And this is a small list of the cables that are going to have to go back to the actual pack. Switch 1 will be the main boot up of the Proton pack. Switch 2 will be the venting button. And switch 3 will play the theme tune. You can see that those get mounted in here. Switch 1 for powering up the Proton pack, switch 2 for venting, and switch 3 for playing the theme tune. You can see there's a little bit of damage in these holes here where it didn't print very well, so I'll have to probably use body filler to fill those in to make them a little bit better. So I think that is all of the features that are going to be in the next Proton pack. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Please like my Facebook page at Captivating Costumes, and subscribe to me because I need subscribers. Because if I don't have subscribers, I don't have anybody to make videos for. So if you're interested to see this project come together, please revisit, because I'm going to be posting updates quite regularly. So thank you very much for watching my video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and find me on Facebook at Captivating Costumes. Love you all, and speak soon.